There we are. So this is going to be our driving home review for Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, which we were kind of, do we go to the cinema this week? Shall we not? And then we're like, yeah, we kind of like the trailer. We're not doing anything else. Let's just go. And I'm so glad we did. It's a hoot.
Such a good movie.
Oh my god, it's an absolute hoot. I was thinking about it, and it's kind of like Tron and the Matrix had a comedy baby.
Yes.
There's gonna be some spoilery stuff, but there's some spoilers I'm not gonna even vaguely touch on, because there was some beautiful surprises in the third act. I can think of 4 instantly that just properly made me sort of squeal or cheer or like laugh or but I mean like fully react to. So I don't want to take those away from you, but there's some great stuff coming towards the end of the film. So basically it's set very much in it's clearly a rip-off of GTA, right?
And a lot of like sort of games like that.
Yeah. I mean that would be the most famous, I would have thought. So he is a NPC, non-playable character in a computer game. Ryan Reynolds, but you flip in and out of his world and the real world. And the basic premise, and here comes the Tron part, is big boss of corporation making millions of dollars stole little wholesome programmer's idea, and it's buried somewhere in there if only they could go in and find it. So the premise then being that Ryan Reynolds' character Guy starts to kind of get sentience and starts to break out from his programming, and then obviously realizes he's a character in a game and so on and so forth. But it's just delightful. It's funny. I laughed pretty much from start to finish. It's Guy Reynolds.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, let's just blend reality and the computer game. It's Ryan Reynolds doing what Ryan Reynolds does best. It's
Canadian Benedict Cumberbatch, as I think he described himself once.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with that. I don't think of Benedict Cumberbatch particularly as comedy. He can do comedy very well, but I don't think of him as a comedy actor. Whereas you think of Ryan Reynolds in most of his films, and it's that kind of dry wit. Deadpool is the epitome of Ryan Reynolds to me, and this is just Deadpool without
without quite so much swearing,
without so much swearing or violence or filth. I don't know. There's a fair amount of violence in this when you think about it,
but it's very sanitized video game.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. It's just, I love the fact that all the NPCs in the video game are just completely resigned to every day they've got this pattern. So one little thing I noticed, I pointed out to you, was every morning he goes in for his coffee, and because they only ever drink the same coffee, he asks for a cappuccino, and the girl just completely has a meltdown because she doesn't know anything other than strong sweet coffee with double creamer. And then all of the menu board in the background is just strong coffee, really strong coffee, sweet coffee. There's no actual proper coffee menu on the menu board. And the people in the bank, whenever the robbers come in, and they come in frequently because it's the players in this online game,
and it's one of the missions is basically a bank heist.
Yeah. So basically they think their job is to just be robbed. That's what they think their job is. So the robbers come in and they all just quite happily get down on the floor. The security guy just undoes his belt and drops his gun, and they lay on the floor and have a chat while the robbery happens, and off they go again. It's just so it's a very it's insanely charming. B, it's ridiculously funny, and I think it's also got some very subtle underlying digs about don't live your life online. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a real sort of like a live in the real world message, just not hitting you over the head by any stretch. It's not overdone. It's just a little bit of a there's buttloads of YouTubers in there who I don't do gaming, but I would hazard a guess. I mean, one of them I think I vaguely recognised, so I am assuming they are all genuine, actual YouTubers who are known for gaming stuff, because they also seem to be lots of different nationalities, which of course they probably would be. But yeah, it's quite a small cast, really. I mean, you got the dude from Stranger Things, Jodie Comer. I don't know how you say her name. Jodie Comer. What do I know her from?
I don't know, but she did look familiar.
I know the name as well. Anyway, obviously Ryan Reynolds, the security guy at the bank, the other guy on the team up in the thing, and Taika Waititi. That's kind of your main cast. That really is kind of it. Then there's a beautiful cameo from a well-known actor as an in-game character, which is quite funny, because especially when you see what his out-of-world character looks like, which is one of the actors from A Series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix. But yeah, this is an absolute hoot. I cannot recommend it enough. It's light, it's fluffy, it doesn't require an awful lot of thought, and it will absolutely 100% entertain you. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would basically add to that is kind of what you touched on, but again, I think if you're into like any sort of like online gaming,
I'm not,
especially like persistent, real world stuff, because like obviously we talked about how it's like GTA, but there's a lot of nods to MMOs as well, and there again there's an awful lot of incidental background stuff. Which if you're a gamer, I mean, I was cracking up because I said to Paul on the way out, I was howling with bits because one of the songs is literally 2 seconds, but it's just a character in the background is literally just jumping up and down. So it's very much you don't need to be into the subject to appreciate it. I think as just a really solid comedy, but like I would actually say like Lower Decks for Star Trek. If you're
should review those actually.
Yeah, if you're into any of the like sort of underlying sort of themes, there are so many little Easter eggs in there that just like add to your enjoyment of the movie. But yeah, I am just completely blown away by how much I enjoyed it, because as I say, we were watching the trailer and we just thought, yeah, it looks okay, and Ryan Reynolds is normally fairly solid as a comedy actor, but it wasn't going to be like anything made something like set the world on fire, but literally laughed from start to finish. It was so good.
And going back into a light area in 3, 2, 1, and yes, and you will absolutely 100%, once the credits start rolling, be singing Mariah Carey.